Most of the videos that I've released on this channel have been overwhelmingly positive when talking about places that I want to showcase. I always want to talk about the best things that a certain place has to offer. Even in the worst places, you can always try to find something good about them. However, lately I've been reading a lot of comments. Even though I haven't been necessarily active posting, I still read all the comments, and people are talking about problems in places like New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, Quebec, Ontario, all the provinces, even in Arkansas. Like, I made a video about Arkansas, North Carolina, South Carolina. There are real problems that these places are facing and that people should be aware of. We're going through a period of record inflation, a housing crisis, pretty much in every province, depleted healthcare systems, lots of division, and don't even get me started on the gas prices. This new series of videos is going to cover reasons why you shouldn't move to a certain place. Today's video is going to cover Nova Scotia and some of the major problems that the province is facing for new residents and long-time residents. Look, in doing this, I realize I'm going to upset people just like I did with the positive videos, but we're getting to a point where we have to be honest with ourselves. Canada, the US, all the provinces and all the states within our two countries have flaws, and these flaws should be highlighted so that we, the people, can help be part of a solution to these problems. So let's get right into it. 5 reasons not to move to Nova Scotia. Let's do it. Number 1, there's too many people. Simple, may seem odd, just because Nova Scotia is not one of Canada's big provinces that you think of, but the province recently passed the 1 million people mark, which was seen as a milestone, but also a warning. To put it simply, the province is not built to equip this amount of people in all areas. Housing, healthcare, and infrastructure being the big causes for concern. If you're thinking of moving to Nova Scotia and expect to find a family doctor, good luck with that. You'll be put on a list a mile long. And yes, I understand it's like this almost everywhere else in Canada, but Nova Scotia has been dealing with this a lot longer than some other provinces. Number 2, there's a housing shortage. The housing shortage in Nova Scotia has gotten really bad really quick, to say the least. Halifax in particular, it's becoming near impossible to find something affordable in the HRM. And this was turning into a real problem before we even saw inflation skyrocket, like in the last 6 to 8 months, whatever it's been. It's hard to keep track. Prices have gone through the roof, and it's giving many first-time buyers an impossible task, finding something that they can actually afford. The other day, I was just browsing on the internet, looking at housing prices in Nova Scotia, and I came across a listing of a place that was about, give or take, 2 hours from Halifax. It was a brand new mini home trailer, very nice and all, like it was new, modern, like nothing wrong with it, but it was listed at nearly $300,000. Like, I couldn't even believe it. And considering you're 2 hours from the city, pretty rural, not that many amenities nearby, but $300,000. A few years ago, it would have been listed for half that. The housing problem in Nova Scotia is a very, very serious problem. Number 3, the weather. Let's move away from the economy and talk about something a little lighter. The weather. Now, I've spent the last 3 years living in Nova Scotia, going to school for 8 months of the year. Let me just say that the weather, it sucks. There's no other way to put it. That's just my opinion, but I think it sucks. I'm not taking away from the summers. Summers are awesome, even though I don't really get to spend them there. I know what a Nova Scotia summer is like, and although it's short, it's a great time. But the other 3 seasons are wet, rainy, and windy. And when you come from a place where it's sunny all the time to a place where you can go 5 days without seeing the sun on any given week, it's kind of hard on the head. But on the flip side, I really do enjoy not having a ton of snow. At least on the mainland, Cape Breton. I know that's a different beast. We'll get a dumping of snow. Don't get me wrong, you'll still see the 25 to 30 centimeters of snow. That happens all the time. But then 3 days later, it'll be gone. Pros and cons, right? I guess you can't have everything. Number 4, taxes. Taxes in Nova Scotia are among the highest in the country, and when you add that into everything going on in the economy right now, it's not ideal. And then when you consider what you get back from the government in terms of services for all the taxes you pay in Nova Scotia, it's not ideal, especially when you compare it to some other provinces in the country. So for example, let's say you make $100,000 a year in Nova Scotia. Your after-tax income is going to be $71,279. This is the lowest in the entire country. And then when you look at the healthcare system, education, daycare, and so on, the ROI, if you want to put it that way, it's pretty poor. And number 5, the healthcare system. Now I know I've already talked about this throughout the video, but it really deserves its own spotlight because in my opinion, it is probably the worst thing about the province. The stories I could tell you, we could be here all day and I could tell you stories about the healthcare system and how bad it is. But here are some of the major problems. 1, the rural areas of the province are struggling for staff and doctors, and you won't believe how many times I'll be scrolling on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, and I'll see, oh, this county's hospital has closed for the day because there's no doctors, or the emergency room has closed. Like, this is horrible, but it's a reality. Second thing, because of the shortage, wait lists are unimaginable. I heard a story from a friend that someone they knew they needed to get an MRI done. 2-year wait. Like, what? A 2-year wait. It's crazy. And then the third thing, again, all these things tie in together, but here we are. From an article that came out in April, estimates 8.8% of all Nova Scotians are on a waiting list for a family doctor, and that doesn't even include everyone who needs one because some people have just given up. 8.8% of a million. That is a lot of people. Now, I absolutely recognize that a lot of these problems I talked about in this video are not exclusive to Nova Scotia. I want to make it super clear that I understand that. The rest of the country is going through a lot of the same things. But if you ask a Nova Scotian what some of the most pressing issues the province is facing, more or less, these are the issues that will come up. Obviously, the weather is probably not on the forefront of a lot of people's minds, but the video can't be all super sad and upsetting, so like the weather is kind of a lighter thing to talk about. So, keep it positive in the comments, expand on these issues, let people know what other problems the province is facing, and just keep the conversation going. It's a really important conversation to have. Let me know which province or state that you want me to do next in this new series, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.